The Invest in Her podcast is brought to you in part by Wells Fargo Bank. Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. We're so glad to have you with us. I'm Catherine Gray, the founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation and producer of the film Show Her the Money. And recently, when we were screening the movie in Austin, I had the pleasure of meeting my next guest. She is with the Central Texas Angels Network. Please welcome Laurie Cercone. Hi, Laurie. How are you?
I'm good. So great to be here. Really appreciate it. And
great to have you.
Yes.
We had a great screening in Austin. It was full of fantastic energy. And I know a lot of people from your angel network were there. And of course, we were on a panel together. So that was awesome. And I'm so excited to talk about the Central Texas Angels Network today because people are always asking me, where are angel networks? And I'm sure a lot of our listeners are from or near Texas or have friends in Texas. So they want to be aware of where are these angel groups. And yours is one of the, or if not the largest in the country, right?
Well, we're definitely, I don't know if we're the largest because there's many groups that syndicate across many different markets, but we're definitely one of the largest.
One of the largest, yes. How many members do you have?
Well, we have over 120 members.
Great.
We actually, we're started back, we've been around for a while. So we started in 2006, and it was started by a group of investors and community leaders who really wanted to better support with mentorship and startup companies in Texas. So that's how it started. But since then, I mean, we've got now 2 full-time staff members. We have a board of a volunteer and many leadership committees. And I've actually been on the board for 4 years, and I was board president for 2 years.
I saw that. I love that they had a female board president. Bravo. And I'm just curious, what is the ratio? Like, how many women belong to this angel group? Because we're on a mission to grow that.
Yes. Currently, we have 28% of our members are women.
Great.
And so our mission is to, and I'll talk a little bit more about another committee that I lead, which is the Women in Angel Investing Committee, with the goal of supporting the women who join. But moreover, that is to really network with the greater ecosystem to encourage more female investors or those that are interested in investing to join an angel group, as well as, networking with groups that support women founders and making them aware that our angel network is there to support them and fund them. And ultimately, once we do have women in our group, another goal is to make them more prominent because, as you know, in a mostly male group, the men tend to take over, and so if a woman just sees presentations that are given by men and due diligence that are done by a team of men, then you are always going to, kind of have more of a male-dominated presence. And so one of the goals is to get females more involved in presenting content, females more involved on the diligence team, females involved on the committees and on the board. And by doing so, that's going to result in more companies that are funded that are female led.
You probably know I did this TED Talk called Fund Women Save the World. And it is about the research shows that people tend to invest in people they identify with, which means your work is so important in getting more women to become angel investors so that it is women sitting at that decision-making table deciding who gets the funding, which will in turn result in more women founders getting funded by your group and by others as well. So that's why we're trying to bring attention, right, to this incredible opportunity to become an angel investor. What is required to join your group?
Yes, there's really not much that is required. I'll give you a little bit about why I joined, how I got involved in angel investing and what led me to the group. I started really investing early on in pretty high risk, high reward stocks, and mostly like tech stocks that tended to either do really well or go down to zero. And so although that was fun, I didn't really get a lot out of it, right? At the end of the day, it wasn't really rewarding. And after that, I invested in real estate, residential and commercial. And it's interesting because a lot of investors go down that same path. When I moved to Austin from California in 2016, really had a passion for startups and really wanted to network and thought about doing a startup myself. So I went back to UT Austin, and they had a great program, a master's in technology commercialization. So I went there for 2 years and got that degree. And while I didn't actually start a company, I was around so many entrepreneurs who were starting companies and who needed funding. And at that point, during that time, I made my first angel investment in one of those companies. But I felt not confident.
Wait. I want to know what company it was.
Oh, it was a company that's no longer in business. But they did really well, and then unfortunately they ran out of money. So
tell me a success story, one that you really, maybe more recently have invested in.
Yeah, I definitely will. So, but let me finish that. But what led to me joining the group is like, I don't know anything. It was a software company and I don't have a background in software. So it's like, I don't really know if like what they're saying really is, is really true. Yeah. And so I need to be in a group that has people that have that expertise, and also to make sure that the terms and everything should be where they are. But in terms of a success, is when I joined the angel group, one of the things that I learned is, and this happens to many angel investors, is you get really excited, and it's like being a kid in a candy store. It's like you really just want to help everyone, and very optimistic. So I was making more investments than I should, being a new person. And I invested in many companies that first year, and then I kind of learned after a while and developed my thesis and knew what some of the red flags might be. And one of the companies I did invest in early on, it was 2017 when I made my first investment, was a consumer product device in senior tech. And that company it was a woman-led company, and they were raising their seed round. And one of the things when I talk about what I look for in a company is that female investor had great grit, meaning that, she would do whatever it took to
the female founder, you mean, right? Yeah.
And she had been with a number of Fortune 50 companies as a senior leader, and so great leadership skills. But the other important thing that I look for now is a CEO that there's two ways that a company can stay afloat. One is getting funded by sales, which is the most important. The other is raising money. And I think CEOs or the founding team need to be great at both, right? They have to do both very well. And so the CEO has done both extremely well, even during COVID, because, they were trying to scale as a pretty small, nimble startup, trying to scale a consumer product that's, not like a necessity during COVID.
And
what really challenging.
I'm so interested. What is Senior Tech, and what is this product? And now I'm curious.
So Senior Tech is any technology or product that uses technology that focuses on the senior market. And so for this particular company, it's a watch that is innovative in itself. It has some innovative design patents that allows it to continually charge without having to be taken off at any point in time. And then it does a lot of things that allow seniors to stay in place at their home. And it looks stylish. So it's not like you're old, where you're wearing this thing around your neck that looks like a medical device. One might not even tell when you're wearing it that it's anything different than a stylish watch.
And it must be easy to use, because we know all the seniors, we got, it can't be complicated.
Right. Well, what's interesting about this is the median age for these types of devices, I think was like in the 80-ish range.
Oh, wow.
But that's for the industry. But this product, because it was so stylish and people actually didn't mind, there's a stigma to one not wanting to wear things, like a device around their neck. And so the median age of the customer was a lot lower than the industry average for this type of device.
So what kind of things does the watch do that the other watches on the market don't? Like, give me some examples. Yeah.
So the one unique characteristic of it is it has the batteries, like unlike many devices where you have to take the watch off or charge up the device. It has the batteries are they're on the side. You can't tell they're batteries, and so you could easily take them off and then put new ones on. And so you have those interchangeable batteries that are always make the device not have to be taken off to work. So besides telling the time, does it have some other Yeah, and so it has a medication reminder. It also has intelligence where it can sense if someone takes a normal route and, maybe they're going the same route every day and then they go somewhere different. And so there's a lot of features built into it where, it notifies, you can program it to notify a relative. So say it detects that you're doing something different or it's not in your normal routine. It might prompt you first, the wearer, to ask if this was intended. And if there's something unusually detected, then it would then go on to the relative that you detect, or at the most accelerated point, it would call 911. But again, it kind of goes above and beyond most devices. It has fall protection, again, a medication reminder. But some of the unique characteristics of it is the battery design, and that it allows for continuous wearing of that watch.
That sounds great. With so many people, baby boomers, being caregivers to their older parents, it definitely sounds like a unique, product for that type of thing. This is what's so fascinating, isn't it, about angel investing, getting to learn, like you said, about what are the innovative products that are coming down the pike. You have an opportunity to invest in them. And I love what you said about angel groups. And I think that's one of the biggest pluses. You get to learn about these products. You get to meet other fascinating people who are investors or innovators. And you get to be with a group of people that are helping you to vet them, so you're not having to vet these yourself. And that's a big plus, right? It really takes away.
Yes, that's definitely the benefits of it. And CTAN, we not only have our funding cycles, which we have 6 funding cycles per year, but we also offer monthly educational events for our members. As a matter of fact, I just attended one yesterday that was all about the differences between equity, convertible notes, safe notes, and the advantages and disadvantages of each, and sort of the trends of these instruments. But we have courses on patents. We have courses on, term sheets. So a lot of different education, as well as, the ability, if you wanted to be involved, we have many committees, and we have due diligence teams that are member-led. And so when I first started, I was on a lot of diligence teams, and it's a great learning ability to get that, and then be supported by a team of others who, I love the fact that there's so many smart people that have industry experience across every category. And so as an individual, you might have experience in what your profession is, but you're not going to have experience in every single industry. And one thing that I learned is that my thesis, I like to be diversified in many different categories, but I also, you need to have enough companies. Statistics show that you should be invested in 20 or more companies. One of the things that CTAN has done in the last 2 years ago, we're in our second year now of having a sidecar fund. And the sidecar fund is an excellent opportunity for someone new to come in and get that diversification. So if a new member came and they could put as little as $20,000 into the sidecar fund, and that $20,000 is there's threshold that needs to be met. So many members need to first invest in the company. It needs to present at our pitch event, kind of make it through the cycle, have enough interest to have diligence done. So there's a full diligence report. And then if it raises a certain amount, has at least 4 members invest at a certain threshold, then the sidecar fund invests. So the sidecar is really invested in companies that are well vetted, has made it through the entire process, has diligence. So if you are invested in the sidecar fund, you're going to be really invested in the best companies. And the goal is to invest in 8 to 10 companies per year.
And so let's explain to people what that sidecar thing opportunity might be. I think it's like an SPV, right? A special. The difference between an SPV and a fund is an SPV you kind of which is a special purpose vehicle for those that don't know that. Yeah.
Yes. So an SPV might be for one company, and you could kind of choose, which companies you invest in. And there's an SPV usually for a particular company. The fund, however, is at the beginning of the year. We start raising for the fund usually at the end of the year, and it's open till probably like March. And so members can choose to invest a certain dollar amount in the fund. And it's as low as $20,000, but some members might invest more, 50,000 or 100,000, whatever they feel comfortable in. And then, as I mentioned, the fund, basically, the reason it's called a sidecar fund is it invests alongside what members invest in. So if a company makes it all the way through the due diligence process, has enough interest, and the members write checks, and that meets the threshold of total investment and enough members investing in that particular company, then the sidecar fund, as a sidecar, also makes an investment in the company. And typically, what we do is we look at the total dollars collected and divide that by 8 investments. And so that allows us to invest anywhere from about 100 to 200,000 per company. And so as a member of the fund, you're getting a piece of equity in 8 to 10 companies. When I spoke about being diversified, if I were to join CTAN today and I join the fund, I would then get, after my first year, equity in 8 to 10 companies. And that's great, because if I were to write checks in those individual companies, usually the minimums can be $25K. So I'd be looking at having to have 200,000 to get the same diversification.
I love that concept. I'm so glad that Central Texas Angels Network gives both those opportunities. One, that you present companies to them that they could invest in individually, that you all help to vet for them, or they could go into this fund where they're with other people pooling their money, and then you all are allocating that to the 8 companies that you all see would be the best to invest in. And so giving them that automatic diversification of their funding. And 20,000 is a great entry level for that, making it very doable for a lot of people. I know sometimes people take it from their IRA or, savings or whatever, but so important to put a part of our portfolio in there. And then what a great opportunity to do either one of those things, direct invest or direct in your fund, but then go to your events and meet all these incredible people, whether they're funders or founders. And what a great arena to really meet brilliant, fascinating people. And I think a lot of people are starting to think, how do I get involved in this arena? And if you're in Texas, this is one way you can do that. So we want them to check out the Texas Angel Network. I want to talk to, before we wrap up, about the reason founders get so much out of going to angel groups and pitching is, like you said, that all of those who invest, and even some who don't, could be opening doors for them, giving them resources other than capital, which is just as important to get introductions and so forth. And each person in there has a different expertise. And I just wanted to mention for you, that expertise is the food industry and the food manufacturing industry. I know you have an amazing background in that arena. And so somebody has a food product, they're likely going to come to the Angel Group, have an opportunity to meet people like you that could help open doors for them, whether it be for their food sales or their manufacturing or distribution. That's gold, right? And that's something we're not going to get unless we join a group like this.
Sure. And just a couple of other points to note is that funding cycle that I mentioned, we do narrow it down to usually six companies at our final pitch event. But everyone who applies that meets our criteria, those pitch decks are sent out to all of our investors, and then we typically narrow it down and choose about 12 companies to pitch at a virtual pitch event, and then narrow it down to our final pitch event. But anywhere along the way, if a company doesn't get enough interest to go into diligence, we still have members that invest in them. And so we call those side investments, but 50% of our companies end up raising money by investors investing in them, even if they don't go through the entire diligence process. And we have a lot of members who, as you mentioned, are experts. Some have had successful companies that they have exited. Now they want to give back and they want to mentor founders. We have those who are retired that really have a lot of time and passion to mentor companies, to serve on boards, to be advisors. So that's something we offer. Outside of the funding cycle, we also offer opportunities. We have a virtual event that's held 1 week before the application deadline. And this is really an introduction to how to pitch to angel investors, and kind of goes through our entire cycle, but also talks about just how founders should pitch to angel investors and who are angel investors and what's most important to them. We also have office hours that are in person here in Austin, where it's a round robin format, and we have our angel investors, usually about 12 to 15 investors, available to meet with founders and talk about their business and talk about whether they're ready for angel investments. And that's a great one-on-one personal meeting. And then we have events throughout the years where we invite founders to attend. But we have the website, which is CTAN.com, CTAN.com. And on that website is a wealth of information about what our thesis is, about what our funding cycles are, how to apply, just common questions and answers. In addition to that, we are on LinkedIn, and you can find us under Central-Texas-Angel-Network. So you could follow us on LinkedIn, or follow us on Facebook under Central Texas Angel Network. Both of those social media sites will have our events and post our events ahead of time, and also have when the application deadlines are, so you don't miss out on those. And so those are just great additional events that can support founders.
That's great. And do most of your live events take place in Austin, or?
Most of our live events do take place in Austin, but as I mentioned, we do have, before every funding cycle, a virtual event, and we have companies from all over the country attend that virtual event. And that's great because we have at least 15 to 20 minutes at the end where it's Q&A. And so we answer a lot of questions, and founders have told us that's and they get a lot out of it. That's a great resource for them.
Great. Well, I'm so glad that you are on the Women in Angel Investment Committee for this entity, trying to get more women to invest and working on getting that angel group to invest in more women. So great opportunity for both angel investors that want to be in that arena, and also for the entrepreneur women founders. So very exciting to learn about the Central Texas Angel Network today. Laurie, thanks for being a great guest. Everybody, you can also find Laurie, I take it, on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, and it's under Laurie, Laurie Cercone, Cercone.
Great. And of course, you can find me on LinkedIn as well, Catherine Gray, Catherine with a C and Gray with an A. And my website is sheangelinvestors.com. And of course, we also have the movie site, which is showherthemoneymovie.com. You can see when we'll be in your area. We'll also be streaming soon through large groups and corporations on the Kinema platform. So check out our website and learn out how to do that so you can see our movie, Show Her the Money. We really appreciate everybody taking the time to tune in today. Laurie, thank you for your valuable time. And everybody, remember to invest in her. Make it a great week.